Hello right bags, it's Jade, welcome to a Hearth and Home update video for VALHEIM. Obviously the update's hit, big changes to food, really focusing on having a HP kind of build, using shields and being tanky, or having a stamina build, being mobile and using your bow. Whole bunch of brand new recipes added and new ways to cook them with the additions and upgrades to the Cauldron. I'm going to cover all of that. I'm going to read out all the recipes in case you're wondering how to craft something, and I'm going to show you the upgrades. I'm also going to talk about what I think some of these foods might be best situations used for. And this has all been done after the hotfix that's already changed the values of some of these and then basically buffed them. I'm sure they'll change again, so don't at me if they become different in the next few weeks, but it's a rough idea of the best tiered food. So to unlock a lot of these foods, you are going to obviously need to craft your cauldron. It's been in the game a while, but now we have 3 brand new additions: the spice rack, the butcher's table, and pots and pans. These are all relatively easy to get, save possibly the pots and pans, which you will need dark metal for. Spice rack just consists of some of the root vegetables like carrots and turnips, and then mushrooms and thistles, dandelion. The butcher's table, you will need ancient bark from swamps, core wood, fine wood, and of course silver from the mountains. And the pots and pans, that's going to need iron and copper as well as fine wood to go along with that black metal. 2 of the items that you can cook do also require a stone oven, and for that you're going to need circling cores, iron, as well as accessing the artisan table, not forgetting stone, but that should be relatively easy. The cauldron goes up to level 4, and some recipes obviously will require all of them upgrades before you can make them. You also need every part of the recipe to go ahead and craft them. There are 3 distinct categories of food now. The first category is cooked meats used in recipes. Pretty much anything revolving cooked meats is going to give you extra HP. The second category is stamina based foods. Pretty much anything vegetable based will give you more stamina. And then you've got a few items like boar jerky that will give you pretty much the same health and same stamina. There's only a few of these items, but I class them as a third category. They all obviously have different tick rates, so you'll gain more HP from eating certain things. So let's start looking at all of these categories, as well as some of the raw ingredients and what kind of benefits they give you now. Okay, so before we get to the cauldron, we should really take a look at cooked meats first, just to give you an idea of what to expect when you eat just plain cooked meat from now on. So when it comes to roasting your meats, there are obviously a few changes. You can still go ahead and cook boar meat, no problem. You can also still cook necktail as well as raw fish. You'll also be able to cook deer meat and raw wolf meat. However, if you want to cook lox meat, you're going to need the actual upgraded cooking station. Likewise, the same goes for serpent meat. You can no longer cook these 2 items on the cooking item rack. And to craft the iron cooking station, you obviously will need 3 iron and 3 chains. And probably not the hardest thing to get hold of. Out of all the meats, the serpent meat does take the longest, with everything else being relatively quick. So it's definitely quicker than using just a normal cooking bench. So you may need to upgrade as soon as you get hold of serpent meat or the lox meat. And in terms of what they offer, these are all obviously still meat items that are going to give you HP over stamina, with grilled necktail actually being the worst at 25 health, 8 stamina, 20 minute duration and 2 healing ticks. Boar meat 30 health, 10 stamina, deer meat 35 health, stamina of 12, cooked wolf meat 45 health, stamina of 15, but you do get a 3 HP per tick. Cooked fish 45 health, stamina 15, so exactly the same as the cooked wolf meat, but you only get 2 HP per tick. And then you've got cooked lox meat 50 health, 16 stamina, 4 HP per tick, with the serpent meat giving you 70 health, 23 stamina, and taking 25 minutes as well this time, also giving you 3 HP per tick. So you will need the upgraded one once again to make lox meat and serpent meat. In terms of what the top 3 offer you, it's a fair amount. These are going to be obviously easier to cook. You may want to hold on to the serpent meat though and really only use it for the serpent stew. Now when you compare the actual serpent stew to serpent meat, you can clearly see it's only 10% more health, only 3% more stamina, but you do get an extra 5 minute duration and it's 4 healing points per tick rather than 3. Considering you only have to use a level 2 upgrade at the cauldron as well as the mushroom and honey, I would say it's definitely worth keeping onto your serpent meat until you actually can craft serpent stew. You can see it's giving you 187 health as well with all 3 of them top tier meat items. And the stamina's not too bad either at 103. So let's cover the raw stamina food stuff. Now obviously you should have a bunch of these raw items to hand if you've been playing the game, but if you have started something new, you might just want a heads up on what to expect. Raspberry is going to give you 20 stamina, 7 health, 1 HP per tick, only lasts 10 minutes. Blueberries, 10 minutes, 1 HP per tick, 25 stamina, 8 health. Yellow mushrooms, 30 stamina, 10 health, 10 minutes per tick, 1 HP. Carrots actually last a bit longer at 15 minutes, but only give you a slight bit more stamina and health at 32 and 10. Honey, 35 stamina, 15 minute duration and a health of 8. So carrots and yellow mushrooms actually give you a tiny bit more health than just regular honey. Then we've got onions, 13 health, 40 stamina, 15 minutes, 1 HP per tick. And then cloudberries, 13 health, 40 stamina, 15 minutes and again 1 HP. So you really don't want to be eating these items anymore. You want to be saving them to make recipes as much as possible. Obviously in the early game, sure, if you want a bit of a stamina boost just to chop some trees down, then go ahead and munch on whatever root vegetables you can find. But especially onions, absolutely make sure you hold on to them to make onion soup. Gives you 20 extra stamina. You also get the 7 extra health. It lasts an extra 5 minutes. Likewise, cloudberries, which you'll need for your lox pie. You may need to keep a bunch of them. They're relatively easy to get to once you've got a portal down in the plains. Obviously, you can't eat turnips whole, so that's the top 3 items that we can currently have. You can see it does give you 165 stamina, but that health regen is excruciatingly slow. So really, you only want to be using this kind of combination for just gathering resources or doing some building. You're only going to get 59 health with all 3 of them items. Okay, let's move over to the cauldron and see what we can cook up now in terms of meat in dishes to give us better HP. Deer stew, you only need level 1 cauldron, 1 cooked deer meat, 1 blueberry and 1 carrot, and you get 40 health and 13 stamina. It only has 2 HP per tick and it's one of the lowest HPs out of these recipes. Mincemeat sauce is 45 health, 15 stamina, but you do get 3 HP per tick. It also lasts an extra 5 minutes longer at 25 minutes. So it's 1 boar meat, 1 necktail and 1 carrot. This could be one of the easiest ones to craft. You'll be able to find this plentiful in the starter biomes and it should be easier to get hold of than possibly the deers in the very beginning. The carrots may be the one thing that you need to spend a bit of time extra getting. But likewise, deer stew also relies on carrots. Mincemeat sauce is also tier 1. After that we've got black soup, which gives you 50 health and 17 stamina. It's got a duration of 20 minutes and 3 HP per tick. This is a tier 2 item, so you won't be able to craft it until you either add one of the new cauldron pieces. You will need a blood bag, honey and turnips. So again, that's quite difficult to get hold of. The blood bags you're going to have to spend quite a bit of time killing leeches, and the turnips again, you're going to have to find the seeds in the swamp. Honey is probably going to be the easiest thing, and that's probably something that you'll build up quite a lot of if you explored a lot of the meadows and you've gathered a lot of bees. Considering what it does, how much health it gives you, it's definitely going to be a lot easier just to go ahead and craft the minced meat sauce as well as the deer stew. By the time you actually get farms running for turnips and carrots, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. But yeah, farming blood bags is a bit of an issue, especially when you use a lot of the blood bags for other items still. The good old faithful reliable sausages now gives you 55 health, 18 stamina and it's got a duration of 25 minutes. So again, it's still one of the better items to find. Again, it's also got 3 HP per tick and it's still only a tier 2 item to craft. You are going to need 4 entrails, 1 boar meat and 1 thistle to craft them, but you do get 4 of them. So again, pound for pound, out of them 4 that we just mentioned at tiers 1 and 2, sausages are still one of the best foods you'll be able to get hold of. Yes, you may need to kill quite a few draugrs to get it, and they can be a challenge if you're wandering into the swamps. But certainly, compared to everything else, you're going to get much better health, you'll get 4 portions of it, and it lasts a lot longer. So that's definitely going to be one of the foods that you will be wanting to eat, absolutely, if you're looking for hot, good food. So that's absolutely one of the foods I would be going for, aiming to get hold of, rather than some of the others. Next up, we've got wolf skewers. This is going to give you 65 health. That's a massive jump from the sausages. 21 stamina, 25 minutes and 3 HP per tick. The downside to the wolf skewers is that you also need onions. It's also a tier 3 item, so you won't be crafting them until you've gone and explored some of the snow biomes and you found onions inside the chests, inside some of the stone fortifications you'll find in the snow. Mushrooms won't be too hard to find. And once you've learned how to parry a wolf attack, unless you're getting swamped by other creatures, it should be relatively easy to get hold of the meat. Fish wraps are still OP at 70 health, 23 stamina, again that duration of 25, but now we're going into the 4 HP per tick meats. It is a tier 4 item though, so you're going to have unlocked all 4 of the add-ons or free add-ons for the Cauldron, and you are going to also need barley flour, so that means you've got to have crafted the windmill and you've got to have got barley from the plains. Now after that we've got the locksmith pie. It only gives 5 extra health, 24 stamina, but it is one of the longest lasting foods, 30 minutes, and it does give you 4 HP per tick. Again, it will be a tier 4 item. You're also going to need cloudberries. Again, these are all items you'll find in the plains. The 2 locks meat won't be that easy to get hold of either, unless you've managed to tame a few and you are now breeding the loxes to get baby loxes, which you can now do. Add to that the way that you have to also put it in the oven. I would say it's definitely one of the most complicated ones to get. Then we've got serpent stew, health 80, 26 stamina, again duration of 30 minutes, and another 4 HP per tick. Normally some of these items rely on purely on luck. I did 100 days recently, plug, go and check it out, the video is there, and you can follow me doing more 100 days on my Twitch channel, links in the comments down below. And effectively you've got to have just come across them, and I didn't find one single serpent in my 100-day playthrough. But it does give you 80 health, 26 stamina, that 30-minute duration and 4 healing, and somewhat weirdly it only needs to be level 2. So if you are lucky enough to get attacked, or you do want to try sailing around until you can capture some of the serpents, this will give you a massive boost ahead of what you should be getting. With it just requiring honey and mushrooms and only that tier 2, serpent stew could really give you the buff you need to go and take on boss fights earlier. So bottom line, if you haven't built a base in the plains, you should absolutely go and do so. You're going to need to grow your barley flour for a lot of the items, you're going to need cloudberries, you're going to need lox meat. And so clearly, the combination of having serpent stew, lox meat pie, and fish wraps, they are going to give you the maximum health that you can get. A whopping 250 health and 123 stamina. Alright, technically it's 249, but you know, let's round it up to 250. That's going to be 12 HP every tick. That's going to give you pretty much 42 HP or so every 4 or 5 seconds replenishing. So when you start using that with a shield, that's going to give you a huge stagger bar to withstand hits. Remember, it now relies on your health, how much you can defend with a shield. So if you are going for them types of meats, do not try dodging around your enemies, as that's going to use up your precious stamina. Try and just use the shield as much as possible. Now one important change that you may need to consider, if you want to switch out, you're going to need more stamina, then you'll need a bukperry. You'll find these from any shaman. At first I thought they was only from the Grey Dwarf shamans, but it's actually fueling shamans as well. So once you kill them, they should drop one. Throwing up obviously is a bit of an issue. It's going to reduce your health and your stamina, and it does take away some of your actual health pool. It will finish in a few seconds, so it's usually about 7 hits of health possibly. So if you want stamina based foods, then Queen's Jam is going to be one of the most reliable. 40 stamina, 20-minute duration, 2 health pick. You do get 4 lots of it as well, and you only need to be level 1 to make it in the Cauldron. Next up is carrot soup, 15 health, 45 stamina, duration of 25 minutes and 2 HP per tick. Again, level 1, and you only need mushrooms and 3 carrots. The muck shake, that's a bit more involved, but it's a health of 16, 50 stamina, 20-minute duration, but strangely only 1 HP per tick. It does mean that you've got more of a use for ooze if you're not a big fan of the ooze grenades, and you'll just need some raspberries and some blueberries with it. It is a level 2 item though for the Cauldron, so you will need at least 1 upgrade. Next after that we've got turnip stew, 55 stamina, 18 health, 55 stamina, 25-minute duration, and again 2 HP per tick. Another one that's only tier 2. Now it's 3 turnips, but you actually also need 1 boar meat. Next up, onion soup, 20 health, 60 stamina, and again only 1 HP per tick, 20-minute duration. So getting the onions from the chest, as I mentioned earlier, might be a bit tough. But once you do and you've got a farm going on, this could be one of the most reliable ways to keep your stamina pretty decent, as you don't need any other ingredients, just simply 3 onions, and it's a tier 2 item. Then we've got the ice cream, 21 health, 65 stamina, 25-minute duration, and again only 1 HP. For the ice cream, it is going to be a bit harder to get hold of. You're going to need the freeze glands from obviously the drakes and 3 Grey Dwarf eyes. Considering you use Grey Dwarf eyes for so much more, that could potentially become an issue. And because it only offers 1 HP per tick, it seems a bit weak sauce compared to just making something like onion soup. You also do need to be tier 3 to also craft it. Next up we've got blood pudding, 23 health, 70 stamina, 25-minute duration, 1 HP per tick. Again, it's going to be relying on blood bags. also the barley flour and thistle. You're also going to need tier 4 for this one, and obviously you're going to need to have unlocked the artisan table to get the windmill to craft the flour. So again, it seems pretty OP, the steps you're going to take to get this one. And then of course the King Daddy bread. Health 25, stamina 75, 30-minute duration, and that 1 HP per tick. It is another level 4 item, and again you are going to have to obviously put it in the oven first. Just make sure you don't burn anything, as stuff can be burnt if you leave it in there too long. So all in all, it does seem like having bread, blood pudding, and the ice cream is your best chance at getting maximum stamina of 260. That said, going for a combination of Queen's Jam, carrot soup and turnip stew will give you faster HP per tick. So if you are looking for food items that are going to give you a little bit faster health as well as obviously the stamina, then onion soup, the carrot soup and the Queen's Jam might be a better option. And since they're all tier 1 or 2 items, it shouldn't be that hard to make these 3. You have a maximum health of 94 eating the 3 top tier stamina items. But yeah, clearly it's all about how much stamina it's going to give you. Eating these 3 items, you'll be able to do building, landscaping, going around chopping as many trees as you want down. And you can see it takes a significant long time to drain it all. Probably also most useful in the swamp biomes, this kind of ratio of stamina, where obviously it's easier to get wet and bogged down, and possibly now in the plains with the tars, the growth creatures slowing you down also. You're definitely going to need a way to move around quickly around them. So if you take a look at Queen's Jam, the carrot soup and the turnip stew, you can see it's not going to give you an overall bigger health pool, but the stamina is a decent amount, 190, and it does actually heal you a little bit quicker. Jam, carrot stew and turnip stew are still going to be pretty decent. Now that third category of items that I mentioned, they give you all the same stats in terms of health and stamina. Mushrooms, boar jerky and wolf jerky. Now the wolf and boar jerky you are going to have to craft at a cauldron, and it's level 3 to craft the wolf jerky, needing honey as well. It does last 30 minutes, but it'll only give you 1 HP per tick. The boar jerky is only level 1, 1 boar meat and 1 honey again, and it's going to give you 20 health and 20 stamina. And then the mushrooms give you 15 health and 15 stamina. As always, you're going to need as many thistles as you can get hold of, and blood bags look likely to be really valuable going forward too. And thank the lords, now we can actually get Locke's babies. We can maybe farm up Locke's meat a lot quicker too. So early game, you want to be popping yellow mushrooms, lots of honey, and possibly some carrots if you want to be using your bow quite early on to get some skill points. And then as you progress further, I guess that rule of thumb still exists, that you're going to be switching more and more over to the meats and stuff when you're going into high dangerous areas like the swamps and the plains. That said, when you're in the plains biome, you may still want a bit of stamina in case you have to make a hasty retreat across and get away. Fueling can be pretty speedy. And in the swamps biome, well, you're going to have your stamina drained quite a bit. So again, you're probably going to need high stamina foods in the swamps. For the cold, I would probably still go all out on the health. Means you'll be able to parry a bunch of attacks. And if you come into any trouble, you can always slide down a mountain. So there we go. I hope this little guide and showcase of all the foods is helpful. Let me know what kind of build you're going to be going for. What do you think the easiest food is to now get hold of? And do you like the changes they've made? I'm sure they're going to tweak and adjust them over the coming weeks. So if there's anything wrong in this video, don't bother commenting it. I'll do a refresh once we get the next update and the food has settled down a little bit. But for now, after the first hotfix after the update, that is everything you need to know about the Hearth and Home food.